Welcome back, everyone. We're diving into a real classic today,
Oh, yeah.
Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich.
You know it?
We've got excerpts from the book itself, plus some background on its impact, how Hill even came up with these ideas.
It's been inspiring folks for, what, generations now?
Yeah.
But to really get to the core of it.
That's the challenge today. We want those core principles,
Absolutely.
those things that make it so enduring, and then how you can actually apply it in your own life.
Exactly. And I think the real power of Think and Grow Rich, it's not just about financial success.
Wow.
It's about living a richer life, period.
It's about the mindset, right?
Yeah, it's mindset.
Whether you're an artist or an entrepreneur or just somebody who wants to get more out of life,
It's for anybody.
Hill's got something for you. But before we get into all that, let's start at the very beginning. Did you know that this whole thing was sparked by a secret?
Ooh, a secret.
The Carnegie secret.
Ah, yes. Andrew Carnegie, the steel magnate.
So this secret was so powerful, Carnegie believed it could revolutionize education, like cut schooling time in half.
Wow.
That's a bold claim.
It is, but Carnegie was a guy who built an empire, right? He used this secret himself and was convinced that this was the key to unlocking human potential.
And he wasn't the only one. There's the story of Charles M. Schwab, who applied the secret, ended up making a fortune, $600 million in Hill's time,
Wow.
which is billions today.
That's incredible.
Really highlights the potential. And the foundation of the secret, like the very first step, is desire.
Desire.
Not just wishing for it, but a burning, all-consuming desire for what you want to achieve.
So important.
So let's dig into this idea of desire. It's not just daydreaming.
Right.
Hill is talking about like intense, almost obsessive levels of passion for it.
Exactly. It has to be so powerful that it drives you to action, that it just consumes you.
Right.
And Hill's used a great example to illustrate this. Edwin Barnes. This young man, he was so determined to work with Thomas Edison, not just for him, that he rode a freight train to get to Edison's lab.
Whoa.
Talk about commitment.
So he literally burned all bridges behind him.
He did.
That's not just ambition, that's like bordering on obsession.
And that's the point. Barnes' desire wasn't vague or half-hearted. It was definite. He was completely committed.
So connecting this back to you,
Yeah.
think about your own goals, aspirations. Do you feel that same level of burning desire?
You got to have the fire.
That's where it starts, according to Hill.
Exactly.
And once you have that burning desire, the next step is to cultivate faith.
Okay.
But not just faith in the traditional, religious sense.
Interesting.
This is where it gets interesting. Hill describes faith as a state of mind
Okay.
that you can actually develop through autosuggestion.
Through autosuggestion, all right.
So through repeated affirmations, you can program your subconscious mind to believe in your ability to achieve your goals.
So it's like that modern concept of positive affirmations, visualizations, like training your mind for success.
He was ahead of his time.
Yeah, way ahead of his time on this one.
And he wasn't just theorizing. Hill believed this principle was so powerful that he used it to help his son overcome deafness.
Wow.
By instilling in him an unwavering faith that he could hear.
That's pretty incredible. It really shows how deeply he believed in the power of the mind.
But he also emphasized that faith and desire alone aren't enough. You need specialized knowledge, too.
Right, right.
So here's where we go from the mental to the practical.
Okay.
Hill says you need expertise in your chosen field, whatever that may be.
Makes sense.
But he also makes a crucial distinction.
Okay.
Having knowledge isn't the same as using it.
Oh, I see.
He actually says knowledge is only potential power.
That's a good one.
It's about taking that knowledge and turning it into action, focusing it on your goals, using it to create results. So for you listening, this is a great point to pause and consider. What specialized knowledge do you need for the goals you are pursuing? And how could you go about getting that knowledge?
Yeah, think about it.
Courses, mentorship programs, just diving deep into research.
All that.
It's about actively acquiring the knowledge that'll move you forward.
Absolutely.
Now, even with the right mindset, specialized knowledge, you might be thinking, this still feels daunting. And Hill understood that. That's why he introduced this powerful concept, the mastermind principle.
Okay, the mastermind.
This was one of Hill's most, cherished principles.
Yeah.
He considered it the cornerstone of his whole philosophy.
All right, so break it down. What exactly is the mastermind principle?
Essentially, it's about harnessing the power of collaboration. Surrounding yourself with a group of like-minded individuals who share your vision, are working towards a common goal.
So instead of trying to go it alone, You're tapping into a collective intelligence.
Exactly.
A network of support and inspiration.
That synergy, that can be really powerful. Do you have any examples, like the mastermind in action?
Oh, absolutely. Look at Henry Ford, right? Part of his success can be attributed to his mastermind group.
Who, isn't it?
Luminaries like Thomas Edison, Harvey Firestone, John Burroughs, Luther Burbank.
Wow. Talk about a powerhouse team. Makes you wonder what you could achieve with the right mastermind group. But even with the best knowledge and support, we all know that challenges are inevitable. And that brings us to Hill's emphasis on persistence.
Right, persistence.
This is where willpower comes in.
Right.
The grit and determination to keep going even when things get tough.
Because they will.
Oh, they will. Every successful person has faced setbacks, rejection, moments they wanted to quit. But the ones who succeed, they're the ones who keep pushing forward.
Makes sense.
Think about, somebody like Fannie Hurst,
Fannie Hurst,
the novelist, or Kate Smith, the singer. They both faced enormous challenges. They persisted, and they ultimately achieved incredible success.
They pushed through.
Hill summed it up perfectly with his famous quote, "A quitter never wins, and a winner never quits."
Powerful words.
And they lead us to perhaps the most intriguing, even mystical element of Hill's philosophy.
Ooh, mystical?
The sixth sense.
All right, lay it on me.
This is where we delve into the more, esoteric aspects of Hill's thinking. He actually believed in a sixth sense.
Okay.
A way to tap into what he called infinite intelligence.
Infinite intelligence.
For guidance and inspiration.
Interesting. So this is where Hill goes beyond logic and reason.
Yeah.
Into the realm of intuition.
Like trusting your gut.
Gut feelings, yeah. And accessing a deeper level of wisdom.
So it's not just about hard work and planning.
No.
It's about trusting your instincts.
Yeah.
Tapping into a source of wisdom that goes beyond our conscious understanding.
Right, right.
And to access this sixth sense, Hill developed some rather unique practices.
Okay, like what?
One that might surprise you. His nightly meetings with an imaginary cabinet of advisors.
Wait, he had imaginary advisors?
They did.
Who were they?
Only some of history's greatest minds. Abraham Lincoln, Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Wow.
Of course, Thomas Edison.
Okay, that's definitely a new one for me. But before we get into all that, let's come back down to earth for a moment, shall we? And talk about something we can all relate to. Fear.
Yeah.
Hill actually identifies 6 basic fears that hold people back.
Let's hear them.
These are fears that are just, deeply ingrained in human nature. Fear of poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death.
Yeah, those are pretty universal.
We are right.
I think we've all experienced at least one of those at some point.
Probably all of them, honestly.
And that's why it's so important to understand them, because fear can be paralyzing.
Right, it can stop you in your track.
It can prevent us from going after our goals.
For sure.
Living our lives to the fullest.
Well, absolutely.
So if you're listening, think about which of these fears resonate most strongly with you. Which ones might be holding you back?
Which ones are in your way?
Once you identify those fears, Hill provides very specific strategies for overcoming them. Strategies like self-analysis, positive thinking, surrounding yourself with the right people.
Important, yeah.
It all comes down to taking control of your mindset.
Absolutely.
Not letting fear dictate your actions.
Because you have the power to choose.
You do. And speaking of perspective, one of the things that makes Think and Grow Rich so compelling is how Hill uses real-life stories to illustrate his point.
It brings it to life.
It's not just theory. He's talking about people who actually use these principles to achieve incredible things.
It's inspiring, yeah.
Like the story of that young boy.
Oh, yeah.
Who managed to get 50 cents from his uncle.
50 cents?
Even though the uncle initially refused.
What? How'd he do that?
It's a great story. I think you'll like this one.
Okay, I'm intrigued. That story, it always gets me. The boy's determination, his focus, it was almost hypnotic. It was like he was in a trance.
And the uncle was totally disarmed by it. It's a perfect example of how powerful desire can be when it's strong enough.
When you have that fire in your belly.
Right. It can make things happen. But Hill goes beyond just willpower. He talks about understanding and working with the subconscious mind.
Okay, now we're getting into the mechanics of how thoughts become things. This is where it gets practical.
Right, the practical side of it.
Hill believed that the subconscious mind is incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
But it operates according to specific laws.
It's not magic.
No. It's not just about wishing really hard. There's a process to it.
So it's like planting seeds in the subconscious.
Planting seeds.
And then nurturing them with faith, autosuggestion, persistent action.
You got to tend the garden of your mind.
Exactly. And Hill was very specific about this process. He laid out a 6-step formula for transforming desire into reality. Things like writing down your goal, setting a deadline, creating a plan, and most importantly, committing to it with unwavering belief.
Sounds almost like a recipe. Like, if you follow the steps carefully, you're more likely to get the desired outcome.
Yeah.
But Hull also understood that there are internal obstacles that can sabotage our efforts, even when we have a solid plan.
Right.
And that's where his insights into fear are so valuable.
He didn't shy away from those,
The darker aspects of human nature.
Right, the darker aspects.
He knew that fear could be a major roadblock on the path to success.
And he didn't just identify the fears, but he offered practical strategies for overcoming them. Things like self-analysis.
Understanding our weaknesses.
Right, understanding your weaknesses.
And consciously choosing to focus on positive thoughts instead of negative ones.
Choosing to focus on the positive. It's like he's giving us a toolkit, right?
Toolkit for the mind.
For dealing with our inner demons.
Absolutely. And he's reminding us that we have the power to choose our thoughts.
Which then shape our reality.
Exactly. It all starts in the mind.
Thinking about those 6 basic fears that we mentioned earlier, which ones do you find yourself grappling with most? And what steps can you take,
to conquer them?
To conquer them. Because until we address those fears,
they'll keep holding us back.
They'll keep us stuck, no matter how much we desire success.
Right. It's all interconnected. Now, there's another fascinating, albeit somewhat controversial, aspect of Think and Grow Rich.
Okay.
That I think we should discuss.
Let's hear it.
Hill's concept of sex transmutation.
I'm glad you brought that up. It's definitely one of the more, provocative ideas in the book.
Provocative, yeah.
And it's often misunderstood.
Right.
But I think it's incredibly insightful.
Let's unpack it.
Yeah. It's important to clarify that Hill wasn't, advocating for anything inappropriate or whatever.
Yeah.
He was talking about channeling sexual energy into creative, productive pursuits.
Okay, I see.
He believed that this energy is one of the most powerful forces in human nature.
It's powerful stuff.
And when it's transmuted, it can fuel incredible achievements.
Interesting. Who are some people that Hill used as examples?
Oh, he points to all sorts of folks. George Washington. Napoleon Bonaparte. William Shakespeare.
Oh, wow. So like high achievers.
High achievers. Abraham Lincoln.
Across different fields.
Even Thomas Jefferson. Individuals who are known for their drive and accomplishment.
Makes you think, huh?
Right. Hill's argument is that this energy, when properly directed, can be a source of inspiration. Motivation.
And even genius.
That's a powerful idea.
But he also cautioned against, the dangers of misusing this energy, emphasizing that it needs to be channeled wisely and ethically.
Right. Responsibility comes with power.
It's about self-mastery.
Self-control.
Controlling our impulses so that they work for us, not against us.
I like that.
And this ties back to Hill's emphasis on persistence, which he considered the 8th step to riches.
Persistence. That's always key.
Persistence is the glue that holds everything together. Without it, even the best laid plans, they'll just fall apart.
When things get tough.
When faced with adversity. Exactly.
It's about weathering the storm.
He tells the story of the Prophet Muhammad, who faced, years of rejection. And persecution before finally establishing his religion.
Wow.
And then there's Thomas Edison, who famously failed thousands of times before perfecting the incandescent light bulb.
When you put it that way,
right,
it makes success seem less about talent and more about just not giving up.
These individuals achieved greatness not because they were superhuman, but because they refused to give up on their vision.
They had that unwavering belief.
They understood that setbacks are inevitable.
Yeah.
But they also knew that they were temporary. They kept pushing forward, refining their plan.
Learning from their mistakes.
Learning from those mistakes. And in the end, their persistence paid off.
In big ways.
In ways they could never have imagined. What about you?
Me?
Yeah. What's your level of persistence?
That's a good question.
Are you someone who gives up easily when things get tough? I like to think I'm pretty resilient.
Or do you have that inner fire that keeps you going no matter what?
I guess it depends on the situation.
It's a question worth pondering.
Yeah.
Because, as Hill said, a quitter never wins and a winner never quits. And speaking of powerful words, let's talk about Hill's, unique approach to accessing higher wisdom.
Oh, yeah?
His concept of the invisible counselors.
Invisible counselors?
Yeah.
Intriguing.
This is where Hill gets really mystical, right? He wasn't content with just studying the lives of successful people.
He wanted more.
He wanted to tap into their wisdom directly.
I like his style. So how did he do that?
So he developed this practice of holding imaginary meetings.
Imaginary meetings?
With his cabinet of advisors, which included figures like Abraham Lincoln, Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Oh, big names.
And, of course, Thomas Edison.
The dream team.
And through these, imaginary conversations.
He would actually have these conversations in his head.
Yeah, in his mind. He sought guidance, inspiration, solutions to his challenges.
Okay, I've got to admit, that sounds a little out there.
It might sound a bit, woo-woo.
Woo-woo.
But Hill believed that by intensely focusing his imagination on these individuals, he could access their knowledge and insights.
Interesting. So it's like tapping into a collective consciousness.
In a way.
Harnessing the wisdom of the ages.
And it seems to have worked for him. He credited his invisible counselors with many of his breakthroughs.
Maybe there's something to it.
It's a testament to the power of imagination, right, and the belief that we can tap into a higher source of wisdom when we quiet our minds and open ourselves to inspiration.
Makes sense. It's like those moments when a brilliant idea just pops into your head, seemingly out of nowhere.
Exactly, those aha moments. But let's bring this back down to earth for a moment.
Back to reality.
Hill is also very clear that success requires more than just mental exercises and positive thinking.
Okay, so what else is there?
You need a solid plan of action.
A road.
He emphasized the importance of breaking down your goals into smaller, more manageable steps.
Makes them less daunting that way.
It's like building a house. You don't just start hammering away randomly, right?
No.
You need blueprints, a foundation.
A step-by-step process.
A step-by-step process for bringing your vision to life.
Got it.
And just as important as having a plan is surrounding yourself with the right people. People who support your goals, inspire you to be your best.
Your cheerleaders.
This goes back to the mastermind principle, leveraging the power of collaboration and shared wisdom.
It's all connected.
It is. It's about finding mentors, advisors, colleagues who can offer guidance, encouragement, and accountability.
So it's not just about who you know.
No.
It's about who you surround yourself with.
Right. So take a look at your own support system.
Okay.
Who are the people you surround yourself with? Do they lift you up? Do they challenge you to grow?
Challenge is good.
Or do they hold you back with negativity and limiting beliefs?
The energy vampires.
The people we associate with have a profound impact.
On everything.
On our thoughts, our beliefs, and ultimately our success. Remember that saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Oh yeah, I heard that one.
It's powerful.
It is.
Choose your company wisely. As we're wrapping up this section, I want to emphasize one of the key takeaways from Think and Grow Rich. Success is a process.
Not a destination.
Not a destination.
It's a journey.
It's a journey. It's about consistently applying these principles
day after day
until they become ingrained habits.
Like second nature.
It's about developing a mindset of growth.
Learning from our mistakes.
Learning from our mistakes.
And never giving up.
Never giving up on those dreams. And most importantly,
what's that?
It's about understanding that we have far more power and potential
than we think.
Than we often realize.
Right.
And Hill gives us the tools to unlock that potential. And one of the most powerful tools in that toolbox is autosuggestion.
Autosuggestion. So like I was saying earlier,
yeah,
it's like planting those seeds in the garden of your mind.
And then using affirmations to help those seeds grow.
Exactly. It's about feeding your mind with positive thoughts.
It's fascinating, really.
It is.
It's like rewiring your brain for success.
You're training your subconscious mind. And it's closely tied to the concept of faith, which Hill saw as a state of mind that you can cultivate through this practice of autosuggestion.
So it's not about, blind faith or simply wishing for things to happen.
No.
It's about making a conscious choice.
A choice.
To believe in yourself and your ability to achieve what you set out to do.
You have to believe it before you can see it.
And when that belief is strong enough, it can truly move mountains.
No doubt about it. But even with the strongest belief, we can't forget the importance of action.
Right.
As Hill emphasizes, all the positive thinking in the world won't get you anywhere if you don't actually do something.
He was adamant about that. Knowledge without action is meaningless. It's only when we apply what we know, when we turn our thoughts into concrete actions, that we see real, tangible results.
You got to walk the walk, not just talk the talk.
So if you're listening to this and you've got that burning desire,
You've got that fire.
you've identified the knowledge you need, you've started to cultivate that unshakable faith.
What's the next step?
What's the one action you can take today to move closer to your goals?
Don't wait for tomorrow.
Don't let fear or procrastination hold you back. Take that step, even if it seems small.
Small steps lead to big changes.
Remember, momentum builds on itself. And as you're taking action, remember Hill's advice on persistence. There will be setbacks, there will be challenges, but the key is to keep going, to learn from your mistakes, and to never lose sight of your dreams.
Persistence is key. Think about all the successful people we've discussed. They all faced adversity.
They did.
But it was their resilience
That unwavering determination
that set them apart.
And Hill believed that anyone, regardless of their background or circumstances, can develop this resilience. It's about training your mind to focus on solutions, to see opportunities where others might see only obstacles, and to never lose sight of the bigger picture.
So it's a matter of perspective. It's about choosing to see the positive, even when things are tough.
Absolutely. And he also stressed the importance of surrounding yourself with positive influences.
Right.
People who inspire you, support you, and challenge you to grow.
Because negativity can be contagious, but so can positivity.
So choose your company wisely. Surround yourself with people who believe in you, who lift you up, and who encourage you to strive for greatness. And going back to the mastermind principle, remember the power of collaboration. As Hill said, 2 heads are better than 1. And a group of like-minded individuals working together towards a shared vision can achieve truly extraordinary things. If you haven't already, consider forming your own mastermind group. Connect with people who share your values, your passion, and your drive.
It's about amplifying each other's strengths, supporting each other through challenges, and holding each other accountable.
The mastermind principle is truly a keystone to outstanding achievements. We've covered so much ground in this deep dive.
We have.
And I hope you found it valuable.
I know I have.
Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought. Hill believed that anyone can tap into infinite intelligence.
Infinite intelligence.
That universal source of wisdom and power.
That's a powerful concept.
It is, and one that might resonate with you, especially considering Hill's practice of, consulting his imaginary cabinet of advisors.
Oh, right, his imaginary friends?
What if you tried creating your own imaginary cabinet?
My own cabinet.
Who would you include? What wisdom would you seek? It's an interesting experiment, and who knows, it might just unlock a level of creativity and insight you never thought possible. On that note, we'll leave you to explore these ideas further.
Yeah, keep thinking, keep growing.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the timeless wisdom of Think and Grow Rich.
It's been a pleasure, as always.
Keep thinking, keep growing, and keep diving deep. Until next time.
It really is. Like, imagine having access to the greatest minds in history. Anytime you need guidance or inspiration.
That's the power of the imagination. And Hill believed it was a key to unlocking our full potential. But of course, it's not just about daydreaming and fantasizing.
No, it's about taking action.
Right. It's about combining that inner vision with practical steps to bring your goals to life.
Like we were saying earlier, it's like building a house. You need the blueprints, the foundation, but you also need to actually pick up the hammer and start building.
Exactly. It's about taking that first step and then the next one and the next one after that.
Keep the momentum going.
Because every step you take, no matter how small, gets you closer to your destination. And speaking of destinations, one of the things that Hill emphasized was the importance of clearly defining your goals. He believed that you can't hit a target you can't see.
Makes sense. You need to know what you're aiming for.
Right. So, if you're listening, take a moment to reflect on your own goals. Are they clear? Are they specific? Are they written down?
Having a clear target gives you something to focus on, something to work towards. It's like having a compass to guide you through the wilderness.
And even with a clear compass, there will be times when you get lost or discouraged. That's why Hill stressed the importance of not only defining your goals, but also reminding yourself of them regularly. He recommended writing them down and reviewing them every day.
Like keep them top of mind.
Exactly, because it's easy to get sidetracked by the distractions of daily life.
It is, yeah.
Or to lose motivation when things get tough.
So you need those reminders to keep that fire burning.
Exactly. It's like, giving yourself a pep talk every morning, reminding yourself of what you're striving for and why it's important to you.
It's like refueling your engine, keeping yourself energized and focused on the journey ahead.
And it's important to remember that this journey is not always going to be easy. There will be setbacks, there will be obstacles, there will be times when you want to give up.
But that's where persistence comes in.
Absolutely. Hill saw persistence as the essential ingredient for turning dreams into reality.
He had a lot to say about persistence, didn't he? It seems like it was a core theme throughout his work.
It was, and it's not surprising, really, because when you think about it, most great achievements, whether in business, art, science, or any other field, were not accomplished overnight. They are the result of years, sometimes even decades, of dedicated effort and unwavering determination.
It's about having that long-term vision, staying committed to the goal, even when progress seems slow or non-existent.
And it's about understanding that setbacks are not failures. They're just temporary roadblocks on the path to success.
It's all about learning from your mistakes, adapting your approach, and never losing sight of the end goal.
Hill had a great quote about this: "A quitter never wins and a winner never quits." So if you're facing challenges right now, don't despair. Keep going, keep learning, keep refining your approach, and never give up on your dreams.
Sound advice. And as we wrap up this deep dive into the timeless wisdom of Think and Grow Rich, I think it's worth emphasizing that Hill's principles are not just about achieving material success.
Right. It's about living a richer life in every sense of the word.
It's about cultivating a mindset of abundance, of possibility, of believing that you can achieve anything you set your mind to.
It's about tapping into your full potential, not just financially, but also creatively, intellectually, and spiritually.
It's about becoming the best version of yourself.
Exactly. And Hill believed that this journey of self-discovery and growth was open to anyone, regardless of their background or circumstances.
It's a message of hope, of empowerment, of reminding us that we all have the power within us to create the life we want.
And to leave the world a better place than we found it. So if you're inspired by Hill's message, take those principles, apply them to your own life, and go out there and make your dreams a reality. We hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into the timeless wisdom of Think and Grow Rich.
It's been a pleasure discussing these powerful ideas with you.
And we hope you'll join us again for another deep dive into the world of ideas that matter. Until next time, keep thinking, keep growing, and keep diving deep.